Hi, it's Mark Joseph here from Remind, and welcome to Sleep Soundly. It's session 1, and the question right off the bat is, how awake or exhausted are you right now? And do you know why? There's a wonderful song, old 80s song, and the words go, I can't get to sleep. I think about the implications of diving in too deep and possibly their complications, especially at night. I worry over situations. I know they'll be all right. Perhaps it's just imagination. And if you could give yourself a number, 1 being really bad sleep, 10 being really great, what number would you give yourself? And chronic poor sleep really puts us at increased risk for serious medical conditions such as obesity, heart disease, even diabetes. Because during sleep, our body secretes hormones that help control our appetite, our metabolism, and our glucose processing. So poor sleep can really lead to an increase in the body's production of cortisol, which is also known as the stress hormone. In addition, skimping on sleep seems to throw our body hormones out of whack. It's that less insulin is released after you eat, and then this, along with the increased cortisol stress chemical, may lead to too much glucose in the bloodstream, which is a problem, and then increase the risk for type 2 diabetes. But how much sleep do you really need? And everyone is different, right? But according to the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, they say that adults should be getting between 7 and 9 hours of sleep a night. Is that where you fit in? A lot of people that are here don't get that amount of sleep. And the question is then really, has there been moments in your life when you have really struggled to sleep? And I know there have been moments in my life. And when you did struggle to sleep, what kept you up at night? Was it an annoying little buzzing mosquito? Was it a past memory that you keep ruminating, or a future moment of anxiety that plays out as sort of a fiction or a fantasy in your mind? What is it that keeps you up? And I remember I was an attendant to a Buddhist monk that came to visit, and we stayed in a very hot place overlooking a dam, and there were lots of mosquitoes. I went to bed, I put on mosquito spray. The monk was in his room, but I forgot to give him mosquito spray. And the next morning I knocked on his door and I said, Geshe-la, did you sleep last night? Were there lots of mosquitoes? He said, oh, so many mosquitoes biting everywhere. And I didn't have the spray, so now I think, okay, you can eat, and then I let them eat and I go to sleep. Imagine the ability like that to just disengage from your agitations and your worries. And I think, do you think it's possible then to shift our mind from our worries, agitations, and ruminations? Neuroplasticity and the brain's ability to change because of focus exercises says yes, and the research shows that people are generally happier, and they find that like Friday is the best day of the week, even though it's a work day. And Sunday, surprisingly, being a day of rest, is actually not as enjoyable as Friday, the work day, due to the fact that our minds start to create scenarios. We start to think about a Monday morning, that meeting, the day that doesn't exist. We start to think about going back to work. And sadly, we spoil our Sundays with the anxiety of the week ahead, which in turn affects our sleep. So a lot of sleep, and there's so much about sleep in terms of blue light. Don't look at the phone before bed, don't drink caffeine, don't eat sweets, certain foods. All of this we know, right? We know we shouldn't be watching scary movies before we go to sleep because it plays on our mind, or thrillers. And then we should calm down at least an hour before bed, possibly meditate or pray. We know this, but the thing is, our minds are racing. And why are they racing? Because we let them ruminate, we let them worry, and so on and so on.
I love having that extra afternoon siesta on a Sunday afternoon. But this cannot make up for the lost sleep you may be experiencing over the course of a busy week. It could also throw off your internal body clock and possibly lead to Sunday night insomnia, which sounds like a bad movie title. Sticking to a consistent sleep schedule is the best way to regulate your body's clock. One of the most recent and compelling explanations for why we sleep is based on findings that sleep is correlated to changes in the structure and organization of the brain. This is seen in the effect that sleep and sleep deprivation have on people's ability to learn and perform various tasks. Stress can impact your life in many ways, including negatively affecting the quality of your sleep, and it makes sense. You lie in bed worrying and feeling anxious, which makes it almost impossible to relax and quiet your mind enough to fall asleep. It's no wonder that people use the phrase losing sleep over something. That's why people who suffer from chronic stress day in and day out sleep less, have poorer sleep quality, and find it harder to function well during the day. Unfortunately, this cycle will only continue to get worse. If you don't sleep enough at night, your body boosts its level of stress hormones. The brain's chemicals connected with deep sleep are the same ones that tell the body to stop the production of these stress hormones. As a result, when you don't sleep well, your body keeps pumping out these hormones. The next day, you feel more stressed. The following night, you find it harder to sleep, and so on. Even worse, stress hormones peak in the afternoon and early evening, just when you should be relaxing and preparing for slumber.
Okay, so a lot of people ask me, Mark, how do I fall asleep? And what can you do to help me fall asleep? And I say to them, left foot. What? Yes, left foot. They're like, no, I don't understand you. So whatever's going on, you're lying in bed, you just trying to fall asleep, your mind is ruminating, and I just say to yourself, left foot, big toe on the left foot, all my other toes, my heel, my ankle, the underside of the foot, the top. Merge your mind into your body and then slowly move your awareness through your body. And there you go. And it sounds really oversimplified and silly, but our mind is racing, what I call the monkey mind. It is flying into the future, it flies into the past, but very seldom in the present. When we start to think of the future, that cortisol, the adrenaline, the stress level goes up, right? And that's a physical chemical in the body. But if you calm down, all those stress chemicals and hormones start to slow down and calm down, and then you can fall asleep. So the best way, and the only way, as far as I'm concerned, is the body scan, which was introduced into the Western world by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn in the 1980s. And it is a profound method of calming oneself. And you can do it while in bed, no problem. And you will fall asleep. And I've taught this method for 20 years now, and it works again and again. I even fell asleep one day while leading a body scan. That must be a first. But let's give that a try. Let's do the body scan. Okay, come and join me for the practice. It's our first practice of Elevate Itself, and yeah, there we go.